I would like to go over how to use PHP MyAdmin because this is where you will be creating your database, tables, and executing your SQL. Should you wish to use another tool or the command line, you're more than welcome to. In PHP MyAdmin on the left, this is the home button. It will take you back to this interface. I am logged in as the super user, so when I type this in my browser, it will automatically take me into PHP MyAdmin. On the left, I have created a college database. The database is actually only a name for, you might want to think of it as a folder that contains the tables. And on the left, I can collapse and expand it. These are databases that run PHP MyAdmin. So if I click, I can see I have 4 tables. Should I wish to create a new table, I can use the new icon. I also can use this new icon to create a new database. Notice the level. This is on the top level. It's for a database. This is on this level. Should I select the database, I also can create a table on the right down here by giving it a name and the number of columns and clicking go. There's several ways of doing a lot of the same things. The commands on the right-hand side are contingent upon what is clicked on in the left. So if I click on advisors, that's my advisor table. Tables are available in 2 views. The browse view, where it shows you the data, and the structure view. When you create a table, you create the structure. This is where you set up your field names or your column names, the ID, the data type, the primary key, anything else you might need. Browse is where you can see the data. Notice when we click Browse, we see an SQL statement. We will look at these statements later. Behind all of this is actually the SQL. Back to the structure. When I click on Structure, if I scroll down, should I wish to change something, delete something, I have icons here. So all I need to do is click into a box and execute a command, and I can modify the structure. You can come back here and modify anything. I can also add columns, and it tells you where to add them. So you not only can create the structure in the Structure tab for the table, but you can come back and modify it. Notice at the bottom, there's this wonderful word console. All right, and this shows you some of the SQL that might be being executed. Or if you wanted to use the console, you don't have to use it. I'm just showing you that it's there. All right, so when I click on college, now this is the database. Supposing I wanted to rename that word college. This is the operations. This is where you can manipulate some of the other commands. If I click on operations, I can remove it. Remove it as drop. I can also create a table here. I can rename the database. I can copy it. I can move it somewhere else. So operations helps you manipulate. Now remember, I clicked on college, which is the database. Should I click on members and go to operations? Now we're talking about the members table. Notice the way it's referenced, college.members, like a dot syntax. This is the members table that goes into the college database. Notice there are other databases here that have other tables also. So I can rename it, I can do some other things to it. I can drop the table, which is delete. I can empty the table, and that's the truncate command. That means I'm removing all the data. So if you messed up with the data and you want to just get rid of it, you can do it that way rather than deleting the rows in Browse. Where you want to be concerned with right now is in Browse, where you can see your data, and Structure, where you set up the structure for the tables. If you make some mistakes, you can go into Operations, delete everything, and start all over again. I can also export things. And here again, I'm in the Members table. If I wanted to export to an SQL format, this is how you export a table. Or I can export the data as a CSV or a PDF or something else. I can also import data, and we will look at that in another video. Many times you don't need to manually type in the data. The data might be coming from an Excel spreadsheet. This is what you're going to wind up with. This is the college database that we will be working with throughout the rest of this semester. It has 4 tables. The advisors table. All right, there's only 7 advisors. This you're going to be doing completely. You'll be setting up the structure and entering in the data. We also have the members table. Now notice when I click on the members table, up here it shows me some information about it. Okay, it's showing 0 to 24 rows out of 54 total. So there's 54 rows here. You are going to be importing this whole table, and that will be covered in another video. Notice the different fields here. One of the fields is the advisor. The advisor can be a null field. The student is not required to have an advisor, however, they may. This is the only null field in this whole database. The scholarships table. This is the structure. We have a scholarship ID. We have the organization giving the scholarship, the amount of the scholarship, the semester, and the year. You will be setting this up. You will be setting up the structure for the scholarships table, and you will be importing the data as a CSV, comma separated value file. The scholarships _ student table, let's take a look at the structure. It has 3 fields, an ID just for purposes of identifying that row, the scholarship ID, and the student ID. So this is the table that will show you what student got what scholarship based on the IDs. You will be importing that whole table. So 2 tables you'll be totally importing. 1 table you'll be creating yourself, 1 table half and half. Let me point something out to you here. Let me minimize this for a minute. The way that PHP MyAdmin works, notice I have a folder on my desktop, and it's called Database. This is what a table looks like when it is exported. It's the table name.sql. This is a comma separated value file. Notice it's linked to Excel. Notice these are on my desktop. They are not in htdocs because it doesn't matter where they come from. I'm importing them into the database. That being said, you will not be able to go into htdocs and see these files. They do not exist as independent files. They are placed in PHP MyAdmin somehow so that it knows where they are. So you cannot look at your hard drive to try to find these files. They do not exist that way. However, when you export them, they will export as a separate file. I just wanted to point that out. So you can go back to the home page here. When you're at the home page, we have a database tab. You can see all your databases. Once you start clicking onto a table, we have the browse and the structure and other tabs.